Welcome back to Great Grace and Growth. I'm your host, Laura Navaquin, and today we are diving into an essential topic for everyone and anyone looking to improve their marketing by creating powerful call to action copy that truly connects with your audience. So joining me today is Mayra Gomez, a launch and sales conversion copywriter and marketing strategist who helps business owners connect with socially conscious audiences. Mayra, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to hear your insights and how we can transform our call to actions into action driven and compelling messages. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much. I have a ton of questions because this is a topic that's in demand. We're all looking for that right call to action. So let's just jump right on in. First, starting with the basics. While having a strong call to action obviously is important for businesses today, what is the difference that can make it stand out and make sure that your call to action is impactful?
Yeah, so in order to have a strong call to action, you have to think about the copy that's coming before that button of what you want the person to do next. So you want to make sure that that copy has really captured their attention. So when you do that, it's not just about listing facts and features, but really tying that in seamlessly with some benefits and some storytelling so that the person who is reading not only starts reading and goes away, but sticks to reading what you have to say. And then once you have that down, have that naturally lead into that call to action, and that call to action, making sure that it's specific. So a lot of times online, you'll see learn more, book a call, and people read that. It's everywhere, right? So
yes,
people, what you want to think, what can I say differently that's going to make that person want to press that button? So yes, maybe you do want them to book a call or learn more, but maybe you can add a little bit more with the transformation that they're going to get when they schedule that call or when they buy your product. So for example, instead of saying book a call at the end, you can say something along the lines of gain confidence in your leadership skills when you chat with me. And that already is putting a visual in their mind of like, oh, when I talk to this person, yes, I'm getting on a call with them, but I know that the outcome of this call is going to help me maybe with some public speaking skills so that I can be a better thought leader in my industry. That's just an example.
I love that you pointed that out. Many other entrepreneurs are looking for direction and instruction on how to build an impactful call to action or that headline that's going to gain attention from your target audience. One that I keep reading pretty often is recommending to create something that's even potentially controversial, essentially creating clickbait, if you will. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, good question. So I definitely go along with my copywriting in the opposite direction of that because I know for myself and the people that I serve, socially conscious business owners, it's a huge turnoff for myself, for the people I serve, and then their audiences. So it's like this ripple effect where people are being more savvy with their marketing. They're smart, right? Our consumers, you, me, everyone who's listening, we're becoming smarter at where we want to put our money into. So it's really easy nowadays to see like what feels out of line, out of our values when we read a headline and what causes the opposite. So for me, I definitely stick to avoiding the clickbaity type of titles and copy because I don't want people to feel misled. I don't want them to feel a lack of trust from me or the people that I'm writing for. I want the opposite. I want them to feel empowered, excited, ready to learn more about what that person has to offer. So in order to avoid those type of clickbaity type of headlines, what really helps is the foundation. So when I'm doing my onboarding call with my clients, I'm asking them in-depth questions to really learn about their brand tone and voice. And aside from that, I do my own market research where once I have their information, I then go online and I see where their target audience hangs out, whether it's like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram comments, and I'll like literally copy paste things that people have actually said in relation to what the topic is. So between that and between the words that are coming out of the mouth of my clients, I'm then able to have this pretty much my own little mini search engine on a Google
Yeah.
document where I can copy paste the juicy words that people have said, the business owner has said, and weave that into a headline, weave that into the copy. And that's
Hmm.
what's catching the customer's attention, because they read it and they're like, oh, wow, like this person read my mind. And that's a different type of feeling, rather than like, oh, I can already tell this is going to um, lead me to a salesy sale, for better
Hmm.
words. There's a difference between that type of vibe and the vibe of like, you read something and yes, there is a sale, right? We are all needing to run a business, but the sale feels authentic. It feels real
Hmm.
because of how it was structured.
Yeah. I know you mentioned that you help ethical business owners connect with socially conscious audiences. Is it specific to industry or is it pretty general?
Another great question, because even though there is like, we can go with examples like the industry of coaches. There's a lot of online coaches nowadays.
Hmm.
Um, you could put them all in a category, but if you use the same words for all of them, they're not going to stand out. Talking about how consumers are savvy, they're going to say they're shopping around for a leadership coach, for example. They read the
Hmm.
same words and they're going to feel like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know who to go with because they all sound the same. So
Yes.
that's why I feel like it's still very important that even if, for example, I am working with multiple leadership coaches, that I still talk to those leadership coaches one on one, because they're all going to have their own experience on why they came to this point of their life and wanting to be a leadership coach. The
Hmm.
people they serve, that audience is attracted to them for a specific reason. So I'll read the
Hmm.
comments that those people for that person has said, and it makes all the difference to make each person create their own brand story for that person, even if they're in the same industry. So definitely talking to this person specifically and not assuming just because they're all in the
In
same
the same
industry.
industry. And the reason why I asked that question is I know backing up to about a year ago, I was looking for a marketing company and I was searching and I kept getting ads come up on Facebook for marketing company, probably due to my search history. But I was finding multiple marketing companies that literally had the same script, but different companies based in different areas. So I don't know if they were all related to one another in the long run or it was just an industry thing. So I do want to ask you, when you're going out and you're doing your research and you're looking at the comments of each of your clients and doing your own research, is there a way that business owners can test and optimize what'll perform best? How do you test that? Or collect metrics for that to be able to better hone into what's working and not.
Yeah, so it depends on the type of copy that the client is needing. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if they are running ad copy or email copy or like a website copy, they're all three different types of platforms. And it depends on which one it is, because, for example, if they're doing ad copy, I don't do the back end of the ad copy. I get
Mm-hmm.
the information from them, I write the copy, but they themselves, as a business owner, they give it the month, for example, to see how it's performing. And then
Mm-hmm.
they would present the numbers to me a month after, say we're on a retainer. So when that
Mm-hmm.
month comes to an end, I'll be able to look at those numbers with them on a one-on-one call. And then that's when, on that one-on-one call, we'll decide on what tweaks we should make, whether we should just start with the headline at first, depending on those numbers, give it another 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was it. Maybe it needed just that tweak. Maybe it did need a tweak on the call to action. But
Mm-hmm.
going back, it goes back to the business owner gathering that data and then presenting it to me on a one-on-one call a month after, when we are on a retainer
Mm-hmm.
basis. In terms of the email, I do the back end of email copy. So I'm on the back end of the email service provider of the business
Mm-hmm.
owner's choice. So for that, if the business owner chooses to utilize my services, not just for copy, but the back end of the copy, then I have permission to look into their numbers on emails,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm able to check that out myself. They don't have to worry about it. And then again, on a retainer basis, we would get together a month after and we would discuss the
Mm-hmm.
numbers. And then, similar to the ad copy, we would decide based on the numbers, it looks like we need to change the headline, or we need to change a little tweaks in the copy, or the call to action button. So that would be for emails. And then for website
Mhm.
copy, they are in charge of the back end of their website. So they would present me the numbers similar to the ad copy, and then following the same format as mentioned before, we get together on a call.
Mhm.
But I think the overall takeaway is that it takes time, right? It's not just like putting it out
Yeah.
there and expecting this major difference a week later. You have
Mhm.
to at least give it a month and see what is going well and what can be tweaked. And that
Mhm.
calls for working together at least for, I would say, 3 months. So because
Okay.
you can provide all the value and have great copy in 1 month, but then if that's it,
Mhm.
and we're no longer working together, it's like, okay, well, how do I talk to this person again? So I
Mhm.
definitely am strong on saying that you should be working with someone in that for this outcome that you want for at least 3 months.
I think that's a really good time frame as well in order to just get some of those results in and figure out what's working. So obviously we know that copy is not just for websites and for the emails, but there's also social media and then landing pages. Once you figure out copy that you see is gaining results and traction, what is your recommendation? Is it very similar or the same copy that you use across all platforms, or does that have to be adjusted based on the platform? So whether it's social media or email marketing and websites.
Yeah, great question. So I would definitely say, work smarter, not harder, where you don't
Mm-hmm.
need to reinvent the wheel once you have like that big, say, for example, sales page with all the info, but then you take bits and pieces of it that make sense to a specific platform. So a Facebook ad copy is going to have a lot less words and maybe like a LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
post or a Instagram post. So you could take bits and pieces from the bigger part of the copy and then tweak it to fit the platform that you're planning on using.
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. As far as like even the characters that you're permitted on different platforms, the character
Yeah, definitely.
limits.
So the character limit, you just have to really understand how each platform works, right? When you think of LinkedIn, people are more on that professional sense. When you're on Instagram, it's more of like
Mm-hmm.
um, playfulness, I guess. You can have like those
Mm-hmm.
playful reels. And honestly, I'm not really on. I have a TikTok for my business, but I'm not really on it. So I can't really
Mm-hmm.
speak to TikTok, but I would want to say that's even maybe sillier than Instagram.
Yes.
Don't quote me. But my strength is with the LinkedIn, Instagram platforms, along with regular copy for websites, emails, and like sales pages.
Well, I know that you have your agency. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit more on your agency specifically and how you work with clients?
Yeah, so it's pretty custom because every business is at different stages with their own needs.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own launch campaigns going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
what I feel like the most important thing is that very first onboarding call we have is
Mm-hmm.
that I really hone in on their brand tone and voice. That first draft of the copy I put out to them, that the tweaks and adjustments are made, because once that initial part happens, the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
copy for the following months becomes easier because that trial run of month one has already been
Mm-hmm.
accomplished. So
Mm-hmm.
it's usually the same process, not the same copy, but the same process where we get on
Mm-hmm.
that onboarding call. I have a set of questions to ask them. I do my market research. I write the copy for them depending on what their plan is. And then a month later, we get back together, look at the numbers, make the tweaks, and then we continue moving forward with that pattern. But again,
Yeah.
the every onboarding responses are different because they're different people.
Yeah, that makes sense. For business owners who are just getting started and working to refine their call to action strategy, what is a piece of advice that you would be able to give them on how to immediately improve their call to action approach?
I would have them look at their copy and take a step back and see and ask themselves questions as in, am I giving the value that my target audience is seeking? Yes or no? And,
Mm-hmm.
tweak if the answer is no. And once they look back and they ask themselves that question again, and they're like, yes, I am being specific. I am providing that emotional appeal. I am giving them that value. It's all weaved together. What is the overall transformation this person wants? And a lot of times the people will automatically think like, oh, time, money, confidence. Like that's a big pattern I've noticed. But you have to think deeper than that. Like, well, what emotion is going to come out of confidence? What do people get when they have more money? Maybe that their specific target audience is seeking freedom to, this is again an example, but freedom to leave their 9 to 5 so that they can spend more time with their children at home. So and say this is a coach, right? That's going to help them become a business owner. That call to action then is no longer book a call, but it's like book a call to something along the lines of, leaving that 9 to 5 to become that business owner. I know that's not the best example. It's very long winded and that's on the spot, but something along those lines where you would shorten that to be a specific call to action where they're like, oh, when I click this, I know that this person is going to help me become that business owner I want so that I could be spend more time with my children.
I was actually just speaking to my husband about this earlier today about being able to really connect with people on a deeper level as far as what end result are they looking for and how you can help them meet that desire. If you will. I love that you mentioned that, and I think we should have a conversation after this call as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's the biggest difference I've noticed in the business owners who are thriving and the business owners who are feeling stuck. Because the ones who are feeling stuck are continuing with the generic templates that they may have purchased on like Etsy or those faceless accounts. Like it's all regurgitated information that all starts to sound the same. And then you have on the other hand, the business owners who like invested in a quality copywriter who like pretty much ends up being like a quote unquote mind reader. And it's not really a mind reader, right? But they're really digging, like dig to get into the thoughts that people are truly feeling so that when that copy is written, it's written with that in mind. And then the end result is the people who are thinking about purchasing from that business owner, they read it, and over time, right? So a lot of times nowadays, it takes a few times for that person to see the offer for them to start building trust with that person. But the more you do that, the more you're consistent, then they're like, the end goal is that overall, they're like, oh, wow, this person didn't like try to sell me from the start. They got to show me who they are, what they stand for, their values. They gave tips and tricks, and they did sprinkle in some promos, right? We have to make money at the end of the day, but the way that they did it felt so seamless. It didn't feel like it was pushed in my face. So those are the people where I noticed like, oh yeah, they're really thriving because they're thinking about all of that when they're doing their marketing.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for all of that information and your insights today, Mayra. I know that listeners are walking away with actionable steps here and how to create clearer and more compelling call to action. So I also want to ask you, can you share with everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, of course. So I am on LinkedIn under my name, Mayra Gomez Sanchez. I am also really active on my Instagram with my business name at Cultural Visionaries. And it's all lowercase. There's no special like underscores or anything like that. And then people can also check out my website under MyraGSanchezAgency.com. And on any of those 3 platforms, you'll find ways to DM me, message me, book a call. And if you're interested in joining my email list, you can get on that through Instagram or LinkedIn. And I provide a freebie, which is a free launch checklist. So for those business owners who are ready or maybe just thinking about launching an offer, but they don't even know, like, where do I start with all this? I have a checklist that's really easy to follow. And from there, they get weekly copy tips from me on how to improve the copy in their business. And I always try to practice what I preach. So like making sure I'm providing value, being transparent, honest, and just letting them know, like, don't worry, I'm not going to spam you. I know you get probably countless emails in your inbox. This is just, for me to help you out with little tidbits in your words when you're expressing your offer, and of course, sprinkle in my own seamless promos in a way that's also like not in their face.
Yes. Yeah, I love that as well too. I mean, don't worry, I'm going to attach all of your links as well so, no one will have any trouble finding you. I'll have all those in the show notes. But it's such a great point to make because I feel like copy is one of those things, and maybe it could just be me, but I feel like it's something that as an entrepreneur or business owner, it's something that we know is important, but it doesn't necessarily always sit as a priority. We're working on getting out websites and or websites up, we're underestimating the power of copy, of good copy, and what good copy can do to help our companies or business scale and excel forward much quicker than maybe some of the other things that we're investing more time in too. So really the power of good copy. Thank you so much, Mayra, for enlightening me today and giving me some information. And we'll definitely be having a conversation there after this call as well. But thank you so much for being a guest on Great Grace and Growth. I'm so thankful to have you here today.
Yes, thank you so much, Laura, and thank you for the great questions. I love when people really make me think, so I appreciate that.